decide to run for sheriff?
Well, I actually had been an employee of the Anderson County Sheriff's Office for almost 15 years and worked for several sheriffs over the course of my career. Started with Gene Taylor and then Sheriff David Crenshaw and then, of course, Sheriff Skipper. And, enjoyed my career at the Sheriff's Office. Saw a lot of issues. I guess, there's kind of a generation of officers that are around my age at the Sheriff's Office that we really felt like there's things that we could do that are more efficient. We had fresher ideas, ways that we could really impact, especially the crime in Anderson County. And of course, unfortunately for us in Anderson County, it's been very bad lately. And so, we've certainly I had a lot of encouragement from a lot of the guys from my generation, 15, 20 years in. And so it was, saw an issue or several issues, saw some problems, and of course wanted to try to fix it. I, of course, live here. My family's here. Very concerned about the direction we're going in Anderson County, and whether it's economic development or the crime statistics. I mean, all of it concerns me, and I love to serve. Pretty much my entire adulthood I've spent serving at some capacity, and so I just felt the call, prayed about it for a long time. This wasn't something that wasn't a knee-jerk reaction to any one thing. It was probably a lot of prayer over probably about 2 years, to be honest with you. And of course, at first my wife was not on board, and I was content with that I probably wouldn't do it. And she came to me one day and said, I've prayed about it and I feel like you need to do it. And so that's honestly why I ran.
Was campaign harder than you expected it to be campaigning?
Oh, yeah.
You never had run for anything before,
No,
right?
no, sir. Never run for anything before. Campaigning is very challenging. It's tedious work. It's not easy. Some people make it look easy. There's a lot of good career politicians out there, and I've met a lot of them, and of course they make the process look extremely easy, but it was a lot of long days, long nights, time away from my family. We really had to work to get family time in, which is very important to me and of course my whole family. So being the father of kids, we still had to incorporate important family time, but it was a challenge, and I wore several soles off of several pair of boots. So it was a lot of work.
Coming in, what do you see as your goals for your first year and your first term coming in? I know you've already been working on this since you got elected. You've been working on what you want to do next, because you won the primary and ran unopposed. So you've had time to kind of get your feet on the ground.
Yes, sir. The things that we learned, especially during the campaign, actually are some of the target areas that we've had concerns with for a while, especially those of us that have been in the Sheriff's Office for a considerable amount of time, is drugs in Anderson County, a better way of putting more officer presence in our communities and neighborhoods, and of course the property and burglary crimes, which has skyrocketed over the years. And so those are the three main focuses. I think as we hit the ground running in January, those are our three biggest issues that we want to tackle. And we want to put more boots on the ground. We certainly figured that if we combat some of these problems with more personnel, utilizing our current budget, we would certainly make a lot of progress. So those are the three biggest issues right now, and of course, almost everything's drug related. So if we really put a dent in the drug trade in Anderson County, we're going to be very successful with, I think, a lot of the other problems.
And when you talk about the drug trade, you're talking about going after the distributors and the dealers more than the simple possession. Because it seems like a lot of times the county lockup's just been full of simple possession folks.
Yeah, we're actually going to target especially the street level dealers. And so, narcotics and drugs and of course drug use is terrible in Anderson County, but the distribution, the manufacturing, the delivery of the narcotics has been such an issue. And we relatively only have a few guys working in narcotics right now. And so, the county's biggest problem cannot be fixed with just the smallest division at the sheriff's office. So we're changing the face of narcotics and how it looks. It's going to be approximately a 20-man unit, and right now it's about 6. So, we're certainly increasing manpower. We're consolidating within several divisions at the sheriff's office to get this manpower and to get these positions in narcotics. But, when you only have relatively few guys working narcotics, they typically go after the big fish. And we still will, but there's nobody working street level dope, and that of course is what's driving up the property crimes, the burglaries, the armed robberies. Is nobody's attacking the street level stuff. So we're really gonna attack that issue.
It's a really big county.
Yes, sir.
Are you going to work to get more deputies to cover?
Yes, we are. So we're working to fill not only the open positions that we have right now to get it up to 16, but we're actually, like I said, consolidating. Just like the plan with narcotics, we're consolidating several divisions. And basically, we're not just getting rid of some of our duties. We're just saying that there's, after, I guess evaluating certain divisions at the sheriff's office, it could certainly be done better. There could be more practical standards applied to where maybe it takes less manpower to do those duties, so we can incorporate more manpower for boots on the ground. And so our plan is to have 20 deputies. And of course, there's several of those we'll have to wait for them to get out of the academy, because we are going to hire some new folks too that have to go to the academy. Once they have completed the academy, but our shift should look anywhere from 22 to 22 deputies per shift. And so that's certainly going to help.
When it comes to contact with the community at large, are you going to have more town halls and forums? And what if people want to, like first of the year when you take office, if they want more information or just find or have something they need to talk about, how are y'all going to handle that?
Sure. We are still going to, we're going to utilize social media more. We're going to utilize, the web, social media. We're still going to have people dedicated to having some community relation duties. And so, you're not going to see that go away. Right now, I participate in several community groups throughout the county. We want to keep those relationships. Would love to expand that. We'd love to see, more groups, or if there are more groups, we need to know about them so we can be involved if they want us to be involved periodically or on a regular basis. Town halls are certainly great. I think, I say, we should offer something to the public, whether it's every quarter or twice a year or something, where they can kind of get an update. But we want to keep them updated, whether it's utilizing the media or social media. We want to keep you updated and really show some of these benchmarks that we've achieved along the way, so you can see, hey, these guys are making some progress.
When all your free time that's coming up,
Yeah.
You mentioned your family's important too. Tell me a little bit about your family.
Sure. I have a beautiful wife, Leanne, 3 daughters, Maddie, Emily, and Gracie James. And so I live with a house full of ladies.
How old are they?
My daughters are 12, 10, and 2. So, they're a lot of fun, and it's exciting watching them, being involved in everything that they're involved in, because that keeps us busy as all their extracurricular activities as well. Family comes first, and I think, for me, I can't be a good sheriff unless I'm a good dad, a good father, a good husband. So those priorities certainly come first, and I think people respect that. I've had a lot of those conversations throughout the campaign, and certainly there's an advantage to someone a little older because they don't have some of those responsibilities. But again, I think having those responsibilities at home will keep me tuned into what's going on in our community. And why it's so important to me is because my children are affected by what's going on here, or my wife, their family members, so forth and so on. So, yeah, they're my drive, and so we certainly enjoy our family time. Is very important. We do try to do a lot of things together and go places together, and so.
Are they excited about you being sheriff?
Yeah, I would say my girls are. I think they understand law enforcement and police work. At least my older girls do, because they've been around it their whole life, and so they understand some of the commitments. They understand some of the sacrifices being in law enforcement, but they have a real respect for law enforcement, and but I think they probably don't understand what all it entails, or the responsibilities. But I couldn't be blessed with better children, and they're all daddy's girls anyway, so they're gonna be good.
Chad, what do you do to unwind? What are your hobbies? What do you do in your free time when you're not spending time in law enforcement or with your family?
Sure. Other than spending time with the family, a lot of hunting. Do a lot of hunting, depending on what season it is. And of course, I know I'm probably not going to get to do as much hunting. So, but I enjoy that time. I love spending time outside and enjoying, God's creation. I think enjoying nature is whether I see a big buck or not, I'm still content with having spent time out there and just really enjoyed the outside. And so I love being outdoors. Really anything outside. I hate being still. So, but it's those are some of my hobbies. I used to fish and do all that other stuff, but that's too slow now, and I don't have time for it. So. But watching the girls in some of their sports and events and stuff, we do a lot of that, so that takes up a good bit of time as well.
I guess finally, you'd mentioned early on y'all prayed a lot about it.
Mm-hmm.
How does your faith drive your goals and what you're going to be doing in the Sheriff's Department? I
think it's certainly. I think that's probably the most drive. Other than that's number one, and of course my family's support's number two. But anybody out there, no matter what you're pursuing, you feel a call. God designed us for a purpose, and I, whether I'm only sheriff for 4 years or 8 years, I don't know. I felt this calling, and I think God lays stuff on our hearts. And He designs us to be able to do those things that He has designed us for. He's given us those tools to be able to, I guess, to make it work, make it happen. And so, there's nothing special about me. I went out and I campaigned. There's nothing spectacular about me. I think just people related, I think, to especially what's going on currently in Anderson County and what we're trying to do, but the Lord has blessed me with many opportunities over the years, and and looking back over all the opportunities, college after high school, joining the Army, joining the Sheriff's Office, all that public service, and being able to see, because I grew up probably more sheltered than some people. And so certainly didn't see a lot of the needs of our community until I became a law enforcement officer. And then and once you're out there and you see the needs of the community, it weighs on your heart. And so I think that was part of the drive and the calling that the Lord's given me.
How do you want those folks to remember when they look back on your time as sheriff? How do you want to be remembered?
Sure. I hope people will look back and say, he served our community as best he could, and he gave it everything he had. We want to work hard for people, and so I hope that's the way people remember myself, my team, the sheriff's office. I hope that they know that we're going to work really hard for them. And law enforcement's an interesting line of work these days. It's very dangerous, and so to have men and women that are willing to go out and police our communities and not know if somebody's going to walk up to them on a traffic stop and kill them. I mean, it's a risky business. So we hope that we make 100% good decisions, but we know we're going to make mistakes. There's a learning curve for all of us. But so hopefully people look back and they just know, hey, what we can say about Chad is he worked really hard for us.